You can use Pipedrive with Tadabase to manage your sales pipelines and deals in Pipedrive from your Tadabase app. To get started, go to the Pipe section and click Install Pipe. Search for Pipedrive and click Install. To find your Pipedrive API token, go to your Pipedrive web app, go to Personal Preferences, click API, and copy your personal API token. Paste it into the dialog box and click Install. Once you have your Pipedrive pipe installed, you can sync your Tadabase data with Pipedrive. In this example, I have a contacts, deals, pipelines, and stages table. The reason I have a stages table is because pipelines are basically just an ordered collection of stages. In each table, I added a field to track the Pipedrive item ID. So in the contacts table, we have a field called Pipedrive Contact ID. This will allow us to sync our data with Pipedrive. In the page builder, you can add record rules to sync the data with Pipedrive each time an object is created or edited. So for example, we have a form to add new users. So every time we add a new user, we want to add it to Pipedrive. So in the Add Users form, we'll add a record rule to trigger the pipe and add the user to Pipedrive each time the user is created in Tadabase. Then we'll set the Pipedrive user ID to the pipe response of the item ID in Pipedrive. And we'll do the same thing for the contacts form. We'll add a rule to add the contact to Pipedrive each time a contact is added in Tadabase. And we're going to trigger the Create a Person API call. In Pipedrive, person or contact is interchangeable. Then save the Pipedrive contact ID back to from the pipe response of the Pipedrive person ID. And the same for deals. We'll add a record rule in the form to add the deal to Pipedrive each time a deal is added in Tadabase, and set the parameters to the record values, set the user ID to the connected value of the Pipedrive user ID. So when you set you're connecting it to a specific, each deal is connected to a specific user, and we saved the Pipedrive user ID back from the other form record rule. And the same for stage ID. Each time a stage is created, we're going to save back the stage ID, and we'll set that to the connected value. And we're going to connect each deal to a person, so we'll set it to the connected value of the Pipedrive contact ID. And then we'll set the record value of the Pipedrive deal ID back from the pipe response of the Pipedrive deal ID. And the same, we'll add the same on the edit forms, that each time an item is edited, then we can add these record rules as well. Update a record in Pipedrive, and we'll save the contact ID back. And the same for when you add stages. You want to be able to add stages to a pipeline, so you can add a rule that each time you create a stage in Tadabase, add the stage to Pipedrive, and save the stage ID back from the pipe response. And when we add a new pipeline, we'll just add a record rule to add the pipe name. We'll set it to the pipeline, and we'll save the Pipedrive pipeline ID back from the pipe response. Okay, so now let's try this out. So let's add a new user. And when we save it, we'll see that it was added to Pipedrive. And we can check in Pipedrive, we could check our users, go to Manage Users, see the users that we invited, and we'll see this is the user that we just created. Now we can add a contact and connect it to that user that we just created. So let's call it and we'll connect it to the user that we just created. And we see that the Pipedrive contact ID was saved, and we can go to our contacts in Pipedrive, and we'll see the user that we just created. Now let's go to deals. Let's add a new deal. So the first thing we need to do is add a pipeline, because we don't have any pipelines yet. So let's just call it sales pipeline. And now let's add a new deal, and we'll connect it to that pipeline. So just call it military contract. connected to the contact we just created, we'll set connected to the user we just created, and the pipeline we just created. We don't have any stages yet, so we need to add a stage to this pipeline. So let's just call it qualified. We'll add it to the sales pipeline, and let's set the value and the expected close date and the deal status. And we'll see now in Pipedrive, we could go to our deals. When we refresh, we go to the pipeline we just created, and we'll see this deal that we added in Tadabase. And if you edit it over here, because we added a rule on the edit form also, it will update it in Tadabase. So let's say we change the